water boys, but I've said it numerous times to people, and they're kind of like, yeah, Atlanta, Atlanta. And I'm like, you don't get Atlanta. You don't quite understand. So there's that, but that's not to say that we don't want or need the pizzazz with our teams as well, meaning we are a city of entertainment. We want to be entertained, right? So our stars have to have a little bit of that, right?
A little bit of flair.
A little bit of flair as we go through this process. We're not like every other city in that way. So that is why sometimes I think people see it from afar and they're like, oh, they don't care. No, we care. We watch the games, we go to the games, we support our teams, we rep our teams, but at the end of the day, like, there's something else. And this is why the stars who have been stars in this city, Dominique, right, Mike Vick, you can go down the list of guys, even with the Braves, there's been that little bit of, oh, that's my dude. And I only say that to say, yes, I want to dispel that because I think people just think, New York, Boston, I get it. You're talking about generations of sports, grandfathers growing up, telling their kids and so forth and so on. But we care. And we're all about it. Now, with that said, yeah, family's from here, man. So I never thought I'd come and work and be here, but it's been a blessing, man, for real. And it's been great for my family. And, we love the A. And just to see how much has changed even in like 13 years, man, it's bananas. Like, this city is constantly on one, right?
Yes.
There's something always going on, and it's just a beautiful place to be, man. So, by the way, we don't have any more room, though. Don't you think you gonna come in here? We good? We full, right? We full?
We are all the way full.
We don't need any more traffic on I-85 or the connector right here. All right?
Not at all. We don't need it.
This is crazy, man. Like I listen to you guys every day, and to hear your voice on our podcast is blowing me away. I love it. Like, we are big fans, no lie. Like, it's a big interview for us. And so we appreciate you coming.
Well, man, I just love, and I told you guys this before we started, like, the reason why you're watching right now and the reason why you're accessing this is because these brothers are authentic. They are what you get, what you see is what you get.
Yep.
And that's why I was like, of course I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? I get approached by people all the time, and, no disrespect, but some of these cats are fake. Some of these cats are like, oh, man, I want to do this, I want to do that. I love the fact that you guys are like, we're going to start this podcast, and we're going to do this, and you've grown it, and look what's happening. So I love that. I love to see people succeed like that, man. So congratulations.
Thank you on that.
So I got a question. All right. So we talking about interviews. You say, you being one of our best interviews. What was your most memorable interview that you've done? And can you tell us about it?
Oh, man, you know what? There's one that stands out to me that really got me thinking about my future and my life and my finances. But, obviously the big names, and I've been blessed, man. I mean, like, look, I've been doing this since I was 19. I was in school doing this, attempting to become this.
Okay.
I had my first talk show at 22.
Jeez.
I've been grinding for a long time. So I've been at this and had the opportunity to interview a lot of people. Obviously, I'll tell you, the big names, right? Michael Jordan. I covered Michael. I tell people, if you didn't understand what the 96 Bulls were, it was like covering the Beatles, right?
Wow.
They would come to town. I know they sold out at the time, the Georgia Dome when Mike and those guys came.
Yeah.
And, but that was in every city. And they'd show up at the hotel, and there would be blocks of people waiting for the Bulls with Rodman and Pippen and George just to have an appearance. And, of course, they would not come out. But the fact is, that was the thing. Behind the scenes, after every game, they get on the bus, and you'd see Mike with a cigar at the back of the bus, and they're kicking it. And him and, Kerr and all these guys. And, like, to see that as a young guy coming up, it was incredible to cover. But, like, I was in awe the first time I went into a locker room to see and talk to him because it was like, it's Mike. And then I think Allen Iverson tells a story where he's like, he's wearing the Jordans. Because you were like, does he wear them for real?
Does he really wear them?
So he's like, he's wearing the Jordans. And it was just one of those things because he was bigger than life. And you got to understand this, too. And this is a hard part for people that are younger than we are. This is prior to the internet. This is prior to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Like, there was another level of famous, right? When people know who you are, when you're not doing all the digital stuff. And so that was the incredible thing. But here's the interview that changed my thinking about things. So I got a chance to talk to Magic Johnson. He had come to town. I'm in Houston. He had come to town. And Magic, for those of you who don't know, is involved in numerous financial ventures, okay? And, you know, Magic owned Starbucks, he owned theaters, he owned, I mean, you probably would be surprised. But he also had a venture company, a venture capitalist company and all this stuff. So he had come to town, and Magic was buying a place like Atlantic Station here in Atlanta. He was investing in it.
Yeah.
And we had a chance to talk to him about it because at the time it was like, you know, he was out of basketball and he was kind of just, you know, doing some of the broadcasting stuff. But I got a one-on-one with him and he was talking about, I remember asking him, why don't more players do this? Because the reality is, if you think about all the NBA players, I'll use the NBA, but you could use NFL, pick your sport. If they all somehow pulled some of their money together, okay, and invested.
Now we're talking.
Okay, and you're talking about ownership of buildings, blocks, apartment complexes, condos, whatever you want to do. How might that change the complexity, okay, of Black-owned businesses and Black-owned opportunities?
Yes.
So Magic has always been about this. And I said to him, why don't more players do it? And he said to me, they don't want to. They're not interested in it. And they don't realize the impact that it has long term. So now I'm like, I want some financial advice. Like, right, I want to talk to Magic Johnson about, and basically he just said, look, I think people are afraid sometimes to venture into things that they don't understand.